please, please, please stop freaking out about high peak pressures on the ventilator, okay? Peak pressure by itself means nothing without context, and it does not mean you're necessarily harming the patient. If you have a high plateau pressure and a high driving pressure, yes, you are harming the patient, but high peak pressure by itself without context means nothing. And I cannot find any single scrap of evidence that suggests that high peak pressure alone is harmful without high plateau or driving pressure. Okay, yes, all right, shear stress, okay, mechanical power. Those things are kind of unproven. They're mostly hypothetical. We know that mortality and morbidity are affected by driving pressure, plateau, those kind of things. Maybe respiratory rate is involved as well. But peak pressure by itself, zero evidence that I can find that it's harmful. But the reason I bring this up is you see it all the time, right? You have a patient who's an asthmatic. They're critical enough, we end up intubating and putting them on a ventilator. They're gonna have a really, really high peak pressure on volume control, but it's always high. It's not acutely high, it's chronically high when they're in this bronchospastic period, right? It's gonna be 50s, 60s, 70s. And I understand, I get it. Something in your lizard brain says high peak bad. I can't have a high peak pressure. I can't have a peak pressure of 60. It's harming the patient. Barotrauma, pneumo, blah, blah, blah. You're thinking all those things because, big number bad. But in reality, there's no evidence of that. But despite there not being any evidence, you go ahead and you turn their tidal volume down to 4 mils per kilo and ventilate them like an ARDS patient because I can't have a peak pressure over 35. It's going to kill them. So then you ventilate them at 4 mils per kilo and you draw a blood gas. And what does the blood gas show you? pH is 6.9, CO2 of 100, and now you're freaking out even more. And you go, well, I can't go up on the tidal volume. We have to be lung protective. So instead you go up on the rate. And now they're gonna auto PEEP into oblivion. Now their total PEEP is gonna go up to 40. We're gonna impede venous return and put them into obstructive shock. Their intrathoracic pressure is going to be so high that they're going to develop subcutaneous emphysema, and now they're going to blow a pneumo. And next thing you know, you're coating them, you're putting in chest tubes, you're doing fasciotomies to release all the sub-Q gas. Because instead of just accepting the high peak pressure and going up on the volume, you chose to go up on the rate instead, and they can't exhale in the first place. And now they're not ventilating, oxygenating, or perfusing, and your patient has expired. Look, high peak pressure in and of itself, not really any evidence it's bad. Just accept it.